So, this is something that we've kind of wanted since the 90s, since Courage came out. And they probably should have done it in the 90s where they would have done it properly. I'm not saying this was a bad movie, far from it. It was fucking weird. But without ruining anything right away, they just couldn't help themselves. There's one problem with the current Scooby-Doo movies that I've had a problem with, and that's that. Again, I don't want to spoil it, but it just, let's just say it's still here. They haven't gotten a clue. So the story revolves around this signal that Scooby hears and leads him to the middle of nowhere, which Courage also hears. And there's these giant bugs, why they have to be bugs, I don't know. And this leads them on to a mystery to figure out what is going on. And if you're like me trying to figure out the mystery throughout the entire film, about 3/4 of the way through, you're gonna sit there and you're gonna go, "The hell is going on?" Because it gets so bonkers, especially when the climax happens. It's like you take shrooms and it just, woof, it makes you go, poof, because it's just so. So it starts like right away after the Warner Brothers logo. They solved the mystery, which I feel like we should have seen a little more of that, because it's just like, oh, we don't know who it is, and then they take forever to unmask who it is, and then like it's this guy with the bald head and the mustache, and it's like, yeah, but we don't know who that is. Why should we care? And then Scooby hears the thing, he runs off. They chase after him, and the clown just puts his mask on and runs away with the money. I feel like there should have been cops there, but anyway, this leads them to the middle of nowhere, where we find Eustace's bag, which, by the way, I used to say was Eustace's bank, because the way they got Eustace's bag, it sounded like bank to me, but it's Eustace's bag, and his wife, Muriel, and they're in the middle of nowhere, of course, and he's trying to watch the god darn the TV when they show up, and then the bugs show up. And so, from the moment that this happens, this is a real thing going on. Keep that in mind. Everything that happened in this, because it's in the world of Courage the Cowardly Dog, which not every episode had it be real. Sometimes it's a misunderstanding, but it's undoubtedly real. Everything that has happened in this film happened. Remember that. Remember that. Just remember that. Okay. So, we get the introductions, we get the crossovers, and we get the opening titles, which have callbacks to Courage the Cowardly Dog, like the toe monster, see, and the quack cats, naughty. Although the one thing that I was frustrated about is not once did we see Return the Slap. No pictures, nothing. Bunch of other stuff from Courage, but you couldn't. That's one of the most notorious episodes of the show, and you couldn't reference it once. I even have the slab sitting in the background. I mean, come on. Yes, it wouldn't have made any sense, but come on. This movie doesn't make any sense. So, something I caught onto, which I guess you're supposed to catch onto, which that also the reveal that you're supposed to catch on to this made me roll my eyes, but they showed a clip, and in the clip, Eustace puts Courage and Scooby in the truck, R.I.P. truck, by the way, and when comes around, there's the giant bug, or cicada, and I'm like, wait, is it Eustace? Throughout most of the film, every time Eustace goes off somewhere, the bugs show up. And I'm like, is it Eustace? And then later, when people get hypnotized, they start taking money and jewels and stuff to Eustace and Muriel's house. So I'm like, is it Eustace? And he's like, I'm rich, yeah, ooga booga booga. And he raps, by the way, straight out of nowhere. So that's why they call it that. That's the title. I'm not putting that in my video title, but yes, Eustace raps. And it's at that moment that it's the first time I was done. And I got up and I went in the other room. And I'm like, nope. Eustace rapping is where I draw the line. You can, no. But, yeah. So eventually they get invited to the mayor's mansion, where we meet the mayor of nowhere, which I find to be stupid. But it's not even a city. It's just one house in the middle of nowhere, which is apparently in Kansas. But we meet the mayor, and then we get a sort of tribute to Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein when they say Madame Glockenspiel, you get or whatever. And yeah, I just found that to be a weird reference you would make in a kids movie in 2021, a movie from the 1970s or early 80s. I'm sure when it came out. A Mel Brooks movie, kids wouldn't even be known, but I knew it because I've seen Young Frankenstein. But it's just, and this mayor's house is littered with, you got the newscaster from the opening of the show, it's a Courage the Cowardly Dog show, starring Courage the Cowardly Dog, that guy. And he narrates the weird things happen in the middle of nowhere. And you get pictures of, like, the Quack and Cats and Fred, Naughty, and the Toe, and the bunch of other things from the show, and the chicken from outer space. And there's actually a picture with the three-headed chicken, and then there's the laser blaster. It's fun callbacks, But it's after this that things start to go a little downhill for me, because they decided to explain why the weird things happen in nowhere. This made me pause the movie. Because it's when they, by the way, a technological, something that can't possibly happen, by the way. Technological impossibility. Okay? Big words. I might not even know what they mean. But, so, everyone gets captured, Of course, Muriel and Daphne get captured. And then Fred, Velma, Raggy, they all get captured except for Eustace, who's still swimming around in money like Scrooge McDuck and probably still rapping. And then, they go to Courage's obviously 90s compupulator, which is what I call a computer, by the way, and they connect Velma's tablet to it. People, 1990s compupulators will not connect to 2021 tablets. It's just not, they don't have the technology to do that. It won't work. And it is the same computer from the show. Big wide monitor, keyboard connected by wires, tower, everything. It's not a current day computer. It's not even a laptop. They could have updated it if they have Scooby and Shaggy, which, by the way, and he said this, but it didn't really go anywhere. They have this self-help app that's supposed to tell them to not be scared. But then they just say, oh, we can be scared, but we're going to have courage. And so that wasn't even necessary. But you got the compupulator connected to the which has the British voice, of course, connected to the tablet, which for some reason sounds like Velma. Okay. And they reveal that the meteor that made the dinosaurs extinct landed in the middle of nowhere, and that's the cause of all the weird stuff. I paused the video, and I'm just sitting there going, you didn't need to explain. If it's the one thing in the entire film that you didn't need to explain, it's why the weird stuff is happening. And that also makes what happens at the end of this film very frustrating. Alright? Now, I know I maybe get angry and frustrated, but I will tell you this before I continue. I did enjoy the film. As wacky, crazy, wonky as this movie was, it was enjoyable. I didn't hate it. It's two things from my childhood. It's good. But So anyway, they get down in the cavern, and they, by the way, Eustace is like not with the rest of the people for the rest of this film. He shows up in a towel later during the credits, but like before the credits. But so they go down to the hole. And they find the little meteor piece. They found a computer at the mayor's place, and I had an idea that maybe it was the mayor. And they found a computer thing at the mayor's place, so that guy kind of hinted that the mayor was in on it. And like so, and lost my train of thought. Hold on. Get back on the track. Okay, so they find the meteor piece. They find the rest of the gang down there. And then they have this chase. This weird-ass, wonky, loopy chase where everyone is getting turned into, like, Daphne turns into a Nintendo. Looks like she's on regular Nintendo, the NES. Fred turns into a bunch of blocks. And Muriel, they all get turned into weird things. And then we end up in a big fight with just, Warner Brothers owns Godzilla, might as well rip it off, right? So you have a giant Courage and a giant Bug fighting each other, and then Muriel uses it to shrink Courage, and then you have a little chase. And then they end up defeating the Bug. I'm like, okay, so do something with the meteor and let's end this thing. And they're like, time to find out who the Bug really is. I'm like, no, wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Hold the hell on, all right? It's a real Bug. Oh, okay, if it was the only Bug, I could have seen that it was. They do explain it, by the way, but don't get ahead of me. I could see if it was only one Bug, but there's a bunch of Bugs. A bunch of them. And they're like, oh, let's find out who it really is. No, you cannot just assume that it's someone in a Bug mask. And we'll get to that. We'll get to it. Don't get ahead of me. But it is the mayor. But more than that, it's revealed that the mayor is actually Cats and the Quack. Because of course it is. Because of course it is. And they lay out their plan. They wanted to get rich, so they used the meteor to control the bugs and control the people to give them all the monies. Oh, including the clown guy from the beginning of the film. Yes, he comes back and he gives Eustace the money. My question is, why does he keep wearing the clown mask? It's a mask. We know what his face looks like. But I don't know. And, yes, and then the butler and Glockenspiel show up. And it's the general and the lieutenant. And I'm assuming they're going to take the meteor with them. And then it happens. Fred tries to take off, starts pulling on Katz's ear because he believes it's a mask. He tries to tell them that he's real, but of course, because we can't for 1 second let our children think that anything in this movie is real. So we have to make them believe that everything that happened in this film didn't actually happen. Because we think kids are stupid. So we have to go to the lowest common denominator. It frustrates me that in every one of these new movies, this is the third callback they've ruined with the everything isn't real thing that they do. Return to Zombie Island, ruin that. 13 Ghosts, ruin that. And now they've ruined Courage. And this is after they revealed that a meteor that fell from the space, controlled by a duck and a cat. controlling giant bugs in the middle of nowhere. Documented TV footage of stuff happening in the middle of nowhere. 3 eyewitnesses who have been through many adventures with alien chickens and gangster toes and demon-possessed beds. But they still say, oh, it's fake because we can't allow kids to think it's real. My nose itches. Sorry. It makes me want to take this hammer to me nuts. That's all. You know what? I don't want him watching this. Go this way. Oh! Oh! My toe! Double pain. So the movie ends with a dance number. Hold on. So the movie ends with a dance number, and then Eustace comes down to the door. I'm just gonna lay back. Eustace comes down to the door, and the dance number that's choreographed, but it's an animated film, so I'm giving it, you know, I'm gonna get the credits. But there is one thing that really does frustrate me, and it's not even about the movie. If you don't know, most recently the voice actress, I don't know how recently this was completed, and she died after doing this film. They couldn't even put a in loving memory thing at the end of the film or the beginning of the film anywhere. It's too much to ask, right? So this film, I know I've had some frustrations, but it was enjoyable. I bought this for, $15? I say it's at least worth $15 to buy it. And it's going to give you nostalgia. I did feel a lot of good nostalgia feelings towards it. But it's just that whole thing where we always need to debunk. And I'm going to say that when this movie was announced, I called it. I called it when this movie was announced months ago that that's what they were going to do because that's what they do. So I'm wagging my finger and I'm saying, here, ow, hurt my ear. I called it, okay? Ow. But, so this movie was frustrating but nostalgic. So what rating should I give it? Well, it's not going to the moon, but it doesn't deserve to fry in hell. I'm going to give it a 5. It's the middle of the road for me. All right? That's what I call the middle of the road. A 5. It's the middle of the road. It's in between that. It's some things I like, some things that frustrate me and I really don't like. So I got to put it in the middle. It's the middle of the road or the middle of nowhere. In this case, maybe. So it's a 5 or middle of the road. So that's just how it is. So what are your thoughts on Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog? Or as I'm just going to put it, Scooby-Doo meets Courage because too many words in the title of the video is just too much. But, comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.